Mm-hmm.
Even people who have jobs are scared that they're going to get fired. People who have savings are scared they're going to lose it. There is no ebullience, there is no optimism, there is no uplifting, and there's nobody providing any. So 78% say the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. That's always the case. The key is not having it count as much. And you do that with a burgeoning and growing economy. 70% believe that most people in power try to take advantage of people like that. I think you're always going to have a majority of people who think that too, but these are very high numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The Harris survey also found that 68% believe that what they think doesn't count very much anymore, while 40% say that they are left out of things going on around them. Now, Harris has conducted this poll every year since 1966. These are the most negative results yet. These numbers, or this survey, needs to become front and center. Trump instinctively already taps into this growing population group. He just instinctively does. And he's got, because of the basis, on the basis of survey, he's got a lot of room for growth. And here's the next story that needs to be used in conjunction with this. It's an editorial from the Investor's Business Daily. Obama's economic recovery is now $2.2 trillion below average. Here's another way of stating this. The so-called Obama recovery. I dispute that it's a recovery. I think we have been in a recession since Obama took office. However, the statistics indicate that this is, if you want to call this a recovery, this is the worst economic recovery since 1949. And sadly, a lot of low information people still blame this on George W. Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. It's not that hard to understand. If you go back to 2008 and the financial crisis, hell, folks, even today, it's still presented as the near collapse of the world. To this day, that's how it's reported. The near collapse of the world. And it is in those circumstances that poor Obama took office. Oh my God, he's worked so hard trying to fix it, but it was worse than anybody knew, and he's still trying. And that's the story. Obama is not tagged as having contributed to this in any way, shape, manner, or form. That needs to change. Because Obama is the Democrat Party, and because Hillary Clinton is Obama the third term. And all of this needs to be tied to the Democrats. The Republicans haven't done it for I don't know how long, and Trump had better start. Because this is life in America under Democrat Party rule. This is what happens when the Democrats win. 82% of Americans believe people running the country don't care what happens to them. We've got an economic recovery that isn't one. It is 2.2 trillion below average. The way this could be explained closer to home, had Obama's recovery, now in its 28th quarter, if Obama's recovery had been as robust as the average of the past 10 recoveries, the nation's economy would be $2.2 trillion bigger than it is today. That translates into more than $17,000 additional per household. There's your wage increase that hasn't happened. There's your job that you lost. In Obama's lackluster recovery, that for some stupid reason still gets blamed on George W. Bush and the Republicans. This needs to change. It's a presidential campaign where this can change. We in the media can bleat about it all day long. The presidential campaign needs to change the subject, still focus on Hillary and how she can't tell the truth and she's lying about Benghazi, lying about the emails and all of that. But then people are already scared economically. You have to scare them even more because it's true. If Hillary continues what Obama has started, We face an economic stagnation like people don't remember, will have not have experienced in their lifetimes. Hillary's tax increase plan alone is guaranteed to stagnate U.S. economic growth. So we would be $2.2 trillion bigger. That, if you run the numbers, that's $17,000 additional per household. So there's your raise you didn't have. The job you might have lost is all tied into Obama's lack of a recovery. And by the way, this is all on Obama. Ronald Reagan recovered from a horrible Jimmy Carter 4 years. In 3 years, you can do it with policy. Obama's policies have further stagnated our economy. Obamacare, Obama's tax increases, including those attached to Obamacare, our expanding welfare state, the number of people on food stamps continues to grow, the number of people not in the workforce. There is no foundation for economic growth in America today. It has not been laid. It, in fact, has been eaten away. And I can remember the days, Mr. Schnerdley, maybe you can too. I can remember the days when a presidential campaign was all about the economy. And let me tell you, the Democrats do not want it to be about the economy this year, which is why the Washington Post story today announcing that Hillary is going to totally shift her focus, which this is really a shift. You've been doing it already. And her campaign is going to be almost totally devoted to destroying Trump and exposing Trump as unqualified, unprepared, unsuited, you name it.
You will be shocked at what you learn in the next Limbaugh Letter.
I interviewed Heather McDonald for the next issue of the Limbaugh Letter. Her most recent book is The War on Cops, How the New Attack on Law and Order Makes Everyone Less Safe.
Get the facts. Get the Limbaugh Letter at rushlimbaugh.com. You're listening